We're now going to take a look at a few more example classes, beginning with the dice class. This will help you get a better idea of something that is a little bit more useful than just a car or person class. So this dice class will allow us to roll any number of dice with any number of sides. So I've already written out the code. There's actually not too much. This isn't the entire class over here. A lot of it is documentation, so hopefully you'll be able to follow along. So let's take a look at what happens during initialization. So this class is going to allow you to create dice with any number of sides. So we give a default value over here. We're saying by default there will be 6 sides to the dice, and there will be 2 dice. So you'll be rolling 2 dice at a time. This verbose parameter is set to a Boolean. If it's false, then there will be no printout when the dice are rolled. If it is true, then there will be a printout so you can actually see the roll. Okay, so these 3 parameters are set. So the instance will have a sides, set to the number of sides. Num is the number of dice. Verbose is that Boolean. I'm then going to create 2 empty lists. One is to contain the rolls itself. So this is like the history of the dice rolling. So this is actually going to be a list of tuples. So each dice roll will be a tuple. So we'll see that. And then these sums, this will be the sum of the rolls. So if you roll a 3 and a 6 for the first one, it's going to keep track over here as a 9 and so on. So rolls is the exact rolls. Sums is the sum of that roll. Okay. Now, this is a private method over here, this underscore roll method. This is used to roll 1 die. Okay, or 1 complete roll, I should say, not just 1 die. So this will roll it 1 time. This roll method over here will roll it n number of times. So for instance, if you want to roll the dice 5 times, you're going to roll those 2 dice 5 times, right? So this is just for 1 complete roll of those 2 dice. Okay, let's see what happens here. So first of all, we're using the random module that is built in or standard in the standard library. And we use a tuple comprehension here. So it's going to generate a random number between 1 and the number of sides. So 1 to 6 by default. And it's going to go through however many dice there are. So there's by default 2 dice over here. If I said there was 5 dice, it would do this 5 times. So it's going to roll this twice. It's going to create a tuple. And then what we're going to do is we just have that roll. So maybe it's 3, 6 as the tuple. We're going to append it to this rolls list. And then we're also going to append the sum. So we're going to take the sum and append it to the sums list like that. Now, if verbose is true, so if this is true, then we will print out a message to the screen. All right, so that completes 1 roll of all dice. And then this method, roll, is how you actually interact with this class. So this is a public method. So that means this one is meant to be called by the user. And this is if you want to roll all the dice n number of times. So by default, you're just going to roll it once, but you can have 5, 10, whatever, however many rolls you want, and it will just iterate through here, and it'll call that underlying underscore roll method, which will roll it 1 time. Okay, so let's see how this works. So I'm going to create a dice instance and assign it to a variable called dice underscore d. This is common practice. I know it looks weird saying dice equals dice, but this is just the variable name. This is the instance. This is the class. And let's just say we want sides. We'll roll a 10-sided dice, and there will be, maybe we can have 4 dice that we're rolling at once. And we will make verbose equal to true. And I didn't execute this, so let me make sure I execute that so we have that available. All right. So that is we created the instance. We can double check. Yes, it is a dice. It has type dice. And then there's only 1 public method. So this is, if you're the user, so now I'm acting as a user, this is the one that I need to use in order to interact with this. So I'm going to call dot roll, and let's just say I roll it 5 times. So I'm going to roll these 4 dice 5 times. So I'm rolling 4 10-sided dice. And that's what this verbose does. So it prints out all the information. If this was false, it would not print it out. So here's my first roll, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And they range from 1 to 10. right? Because I said there was 10 sides. And now I do dice dot rolls. I can get the information here. So this is where the data is stored in this rolls attribute. And dice dot sums has the sum of each one, right? So this sums to 19, this sums to 28, and so forth. So that's pretty cool. That's just how the dice method works. So you can choose the number of sides, choose how many dice to roll at one time. You can choose whether or not to print it out. And then when you actually roll, you get to choose how many times you roll all of those dice. Okay, so there it is right there, the dice class.